This is The Green Children on True Oddities podcast. In the rolling green countryside of Suffolk, England, during the chaotic and violent period known as the Anarchy in the mid-12th century, the small village of Woolpit carried on with its simple medieval routines. Farmers harvested crops in the fields, women drew water from wells, children played, and shepherds tended flocks. The village itself took its name from the ancient wolf pits, deep trenches dug long ago to trap the dangerous wolves that once roamed the forests and fields of East Anglia. It was near one of these very wolf pits, during harvest time, sometime between 1135 and 1154 in the reign of King Stephen, that the most extraordinary event in the village's long history occurred. A group of villagers working in the field suddenly came upon two small children, a boy and a girl, clearly brother and sister, standing frightened and confused beside the pit. At first glance, the children looked mostly normal in height and features for their apparent age of around 10 to 12 years old. But one detail made the villagers gasp and step back in fear. Their skin was a vivid, unnatural shade of bright green, like fresh spring leaves or unripe apples. Their eyes were large and dark, and their clothing was made of a strange, unknown material in unusual colors that no one in the village had ever seen before. Most alarming of all, when the children tried to speak, they used a completely unknown language that sounded like gibberish to the English-speaking villagers. No one could understand a single word. The frightened children were taken to the nearby home of a local landowner and knight named Sir Richard de Calne. There, the villagers and Sir Richard tried to care for them. They offered the children various foods from the table: bread, meat, milk, fruits, but the pair refused everything and would only eat raw broad beans, which they devoured hungrily. For several days they ate nothing else. The boy soon became very ill and weak. Both children were eventually baptized as Christians, but the boy died shortly afterward. The girl, however, survived and slowly began to adapt to her new life. As time passed and she started eating normal human food, her vivid green skin gradually faded to a normal human color. She learned to speak English, though chroniclers described her as very wanton and impudent in her behavior, lively, cheeky, and sometimes difficult. Once she could communicate clearly, the girl told a fascinating and otherworldly story about where she and her brother had come from. She said they came from a land called St. Martin's Land, a strange subterranean or twilight world where the sun never rose and everything was bathed in a dim, perpetual twilight glow. All the people there had green skin like theirs. Their world was filled with great flocks of sheep, and the light was soft and constant. One day, while tending their father's sheep, they heard the distant, beautiful sound of church bells ringing, bells coming from the direction of the great abbey at Bury St. Edmunds. Curious, they followed the sound through a long, dark tunnel or cave entrance. After walking for what seemed like a great distance in complete darkness, they suddenly emerged into the bright, blinding sunlight of our world. Disoriented and terrified by the intense light and strange surroundings, they wandered until the villagers found them near the wolf pit. The remarkable tale was recorded independently by two respected medieval chroniclers. William of Newburgh included it in his Historia Rerum Anglicarum around 1189, describing it as a strange prodigy that happened during the reign of King Stephen. Ralph of Coggeshall wrote about it in his Chronicon Anglicanum around 1220, claiming he heard the details directly from Sir Richard de Calne himself, the man who had taken the children in. Both writers were serious historians who generally stuck to verifiable facts, which makes the inclusion of this bizarre story even more intriguing. The girl eventually grew up, moved away, and married a man from the town of King's Lynn in Norfolk. She lived out the rest of her life as a normal woman, though local people long remembered her as the green girl from Woolpit. Over the centuries, the story of the Green Children became embedded in English folklore and has fascinated historians, folklorists, and curious minds for more than 850 years. The village of Woolpit still proudly features the Green Children on its official sign and welcomes visitors who come to learn about the legend. Modern explanations for the event are numerous and range from the practical to the speculative. The most widely accepted historical theory is that the children were orphaned descendants of Flemish immigrants who had settled in East Anglia. During the turbulent times of King Stephen or early in Henry II's reign, these Flemish communities sometimes faced persecution and violence. The children may have become lost, traumatized, and severely malnourished after their parents were killed or driven away. Their native Flemish language would have sounded completely alien to English speakers. The green tint to their skin is explained by a condition known as green sickness or hypochromic anemia, a form of severe iron deficiency common in malnourished medieval children that can give the skin a distinctly greenish hue. Once given proper food and care by Sir Richard de Calne, their skin color normalized and they began to recover. Other theories include a genetic condition passed down in a small isolated community, chlorosis caused by poor diet, or even that the entire story is a medieval urban legend or moral allegory designed to teach lessons about curiosity, faith, or the dangers of the unknown. A few romantic or fringe interpretations suggest the children truly came from another realm, perhaps an underground world, a fairy realm, or even an extraterrestrial or parallel dimension, drawn into our world by the sound of church bells. Whatever the real explanation, the Green Children of Woolpit remain one of the strangest and most enduring true oddities from medieval England. Their story continues to spark debate and wonder to this day. As the two green-skinned children emerge blinking and terrified from the dark tunnel into the bright, harsh sunlight of 12th century Suffolk, standing confused beside the ancient wolf pit as curious villagers gather around them, we close this ancient and mysterious chapter of True Oddities. That's episode 10, The Green Children of Woolpit. Next episode, we stay in the 21st century with one of the strangest modern mysteries, the unexplained drone swarms. Since 2021, mysterious fleets of unidentified drones have been swarming over U.S. military bases, sensitive sites, and cities. The government admits they have no idea where they come from or who is flying them. Subscribe, rate the show on Spotify, and I'll see you in the next bizarre but true tale. Stay odd.